Hi and welcome back to the channel on our continuing voyage to become better blues players. My name's Mark and in this video we're going to look at blues licks taken from box position 4 of A minor pentatonic. Now if you don't know what box position 4 is, don't worry about that. At the end of the video I'll actually teach you the scale pattern so you can play it yourself, and we'll talk about how you'll find that scale on the different parts of the neck, and we'll talk about how you'd actually play that scale and fingers you'd use and all of those kind of things. But to start with, we've got an example solo just using licks exclusively from box position 4 of A minor pentatonic. That's over a 12-bar blues backing track, so you can hear all the licks in context. Then what we'll do is we'll come back on the other side and I'll pull all the licks apart one by one and show you how to play them. Okay, so to start with, here's the example. So that was the example solo, and what we'll do now is look at all the licks one by one. So lick 1 goes like this. Okay, nice and easy to start with. We are starting fret 14 of the D string, jumping up to fret 13 of the B string before landing 14 on the G string. That part so far goes like this. And when you land on that 14 on the G string, that last note, give it a shake. And then we end the lick by grabbing 13 on the B string and bending it slightly sharp. Okay, so put the whole thing together, we get this. And the important thing about lick 1 is that you're ending that, or rather that third note in the phrase, you're landing that on beat 1, bar 1 of the scale. So you get the 4-bar counting, 1 Anna, 2 Anna, 3 Anna. Okay, and it's about landing that particular note at that point in time. Okay, so that's the first beat of the first bar of the solo. Okay, so that was lick 1. Lick 2 now goes like this. Okay, and we're starting at 15 on the B string, bend that up a whole tone before coming back down to 15 on the B string and off to 13 on the B. So far we've got this. Then we're coming back to 15 on the B string before 13 on the B, bend that slightly sharp, landing 14 on the G. Okay, so the whole, so far, nice and slow. And then what we're going to do is 13 on the B string, bend that slightly sharp. Okay, so that was lick 2. Lick 2 all together, up to speed. And nice and slow. And you'll notice just whenever we're grabbing that 13 on the B string, kind of bending it slightly sharp, just kind of sounds nice and bluesy that way. Okay, so that was lick 2. Lick 3 now does this. Okay, so we're starting 13 on the B string, 14 on the G, 14 on the D, and then ending the lick with 12 on the G string. Okay, the whole lick nice and slow. Okay, so all those licks up to now, licks 1, 2, and 3, they've all been over the A chord. And now what we're doing is we're moving chord and we're going to play a lick over the D7 chord. And the lick, so this is lick 4, goes like this. Okay, so we're starting 13 on the B string, and then we're grabbing 15 on the top E and bending that up a whole tone before coming back down to 15 and off to 12, all on the top E. So nice and slow, that part goes like this. And then what we're going to do is going to grab 15 on the B string, bend that up a whole tone before coming back to 12 on the top E. So far, everything that we've done so far, nice and slow. Okay, and then the second part of the phrase is very similar. We start 13 on the B string again. We grab 15 on the top E and bend that up a whole tone. So the same as what we started with. Off to 12. And then what we're going to do is we're going to play 15 on the top E string, bend that slightly sharp before coming off to 12 on the top E. Okay, so that second half of lick 4, nice and slow, goes like this. Okay, so the first half of lick 4 goes like this. And the second half of lick 4 goes like this. Put them both together, nice and slow. Okay, and let's do it up to speed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and actually the timing of that isn't quite the way I just did it. One of the things that you'll notice if you listen to the backing track is that that note, that 13, that starting note, actually comes in immediately before the bar of D. So that's like a leading note, and then as soon as we hit the bar of D, which is, what's that, the 5th bar of the chord progression, that's when we're grabbing 15 and bending it up a whole tone. Okay, listen to the backing track, listen to where that phrase comes in relative to the chord change, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Okay, so that was lick 4. Lick 5 now goes like this. Okay, and what we're doing is we're using ring finger and index finger. Ring finger is going to be on the B string, 13th fret. Index finger is going to be on 12th fret, top E string. And what we're going to do is we're going to hit the B string and bend it up slightly, and then hit the top E string. And we're going to do that twice, so you get this. Okay, sounds really nice and bluesy. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to hit 13 again, but we're not going to bend it this time. And then we're going to end on 14 on the G string and just hold that and shake it. That's the first part of lick 5. So far, nice and slow. Then what we're going to play is 12 on the G to 14 on the D. Then back to 12 on the G to 14 on the G. So that second part, nice and slow. So the whole lick, nice and slow. Okay, and up to speed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that was lick 5. Lick 5 there was again over the A chord. Now we're going into the chord progressions, hitting the E7 to D7 to A chords. Okay, and what we're going to play is lick 6. And lick 6 goes like this. Okay, and I'll take it apart now. We start like lick 4, we've got this little leading note, which is 13 on the B string. So we're going to hit that before immediately hitting 15, pulling off to 12 on the top E. So far we've got this. Then we're going to hit 15 on the B to 12 on the top E. Okay, so far we've got this. Then what we're going to do is grab 15 on the B string, bend it up a whole tone before hitting 15 on the top E string. And we're hitting that 15 on the top E as we're kind of still holding that bent B string. So that bit goes like this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to re-pick that bent B string, kind of lowering it down and pulling it back up to 17 before coming off to 15, 13, 15 on the B string. Okay, so nice and slow. What we've got so far on lick 6 goes like this. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to end by going 13 on the B string, bend it slightly sharp before landing 14 on the on the G string, and then grabbing 13 again and bending it slightly sharp, just kind of snapping it. So those last three notes go like this. Okay, so I'll put the whole of lick 6 together, nice and slow, we get this. Okay, so lick 7 now comes in over the A chord, moving to the E7 chord. So this is bars 11 and 12 of our 12 bar blues backing track. Okay, and the actual lick goes like this. And all we're doing is we're going, where are we going? 12 on the G string to 14 on the D string. But that first note, that 12 on the G string, we're just bending it slightly sharp. So we get this. And we do that twice. And when we play it the second time, we kind of hang on that E note, which is the 14 on the D string. We're kind of hanging on that for a while. Okay, so here's the lick again. Okay, so those are all the licks. And what we'll do now is we'll look at the actual scale shape. So I'll play it through. It goes like this. Okay, so there it is, and that's why we've all been playing around this kind of between fret 12 and fret 15 is kind of where it lies. So there's a kind of interesting thing about this is you've got your root note here on the A string, and you've got a root note here on the G string, fret 14 of the G string. And you'll have noticed from all those licks, we're hanging on that fret 14 G string quite a lot because that's our root note. But there's a peculiar thing about it because when I'm playing and that root note is kind of the lowest note in the scale, then what I'm doing is I'm using my middle finger to hit that. So if I'm playing a lick like this, so where that 14G, where that's the lowest thing in the lick and I'm playing the note above that, then I'm going to use ring finger for the G string, 14th fret, index and ring finger for 13 and 15 on the B string. So you get this, like I did before. And you'll notice that when I then go below the note, so I'm playing notes below that A note there, I'm swapping and I'm using my ring finger now on fret 14 of the D string. But using the middle finger of when I'm going above it, as I said before. So that one note, the fret 14 of the G string, I'm alternating between my ring finger and my middle finger depending upon the lick itself and whether I'm kind of playing above it or below it. I hope that makes sense. It's a peculiar thing that is really only occurs in A minor box position 4. You've got this kind of awkward thing where which finger do you use to play that, and it's the most important note because it's the root note, so we're going to be hanging on that note an awful lot. Yeah, so important things about the scale pattern is knowing where that root note is. You've also got your D note here, B string, 15th fret. So when you go to the D chord in a 12 bar blues, that's an important one. And you've got your E note here and here. So that's 14 on the D string or 12 on the top E. So when those notes are obviously really important in the 12 bar blues as well, because when you go into the E chord, those are the notes you're going to want to target. Okay, so that's the scale shape, and I'll have put diagrams on screen and things so that you can see those. One other thing that's interesting about box position 4 to note is that it's actually quite easy to find. When I was learning my 5 positions of A minor pentatonic, or rather 5 box positions of minor pentatonic, box position 1 is really easy to find, because box position 1 of A minor pentatonic is here. And it fits nicely under that A minor chord that we all know and love at fret 5. So you can see A minor pentatonic shape and that chord are closely related. Same thing happens with box position 4 and the A minor pentatonic shape that we all know and love from down here. When we play that at the 12th fret, we get this. And our A minor pentatonic shape fits nicely around. Okay, so hopefully you can visualize that. You can see that A minor pentatonic shape, A minor chord shape, and you can see A minor pentatonic kind of based around that. So if you were in a different key, let's say you're in the key of D, and you want to play box position 4 of D minor pentatonic, well, it's really easy to locate, because you just play your D minor chord in this shape. So there's your D minor chord. And you just play your box position 4 bass right off. Or let's say, for instance, you're going to play F sharp minor. Well, you know an F sharp minor's up here. Where's an F sharp minor? So you can play your minor pentatonic based off. As long as you can locate the chord, you can find the scale around that chord. C minor pentatonic, for example, find the C minor chord and play the box position 4 from there. Okay, so when I was learning my 5 positions of the minor pentatonic scale, actually box position 4 was the one that was always really easy. Box position 4 and box position 1, really easy to locate on the fretboard. Okay, so that's the end of the lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much to my Patreon supporters who pay for the lights and cameras and everything else that keeps this channel going. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe it. If you enjoyed this, leave me a comment and please let me know, because otherwise I'm just a guy in his spare bedroom hoping that somebody out there is watching. And if you did like this, I've got other videos in other lessons in this series. I've done a box position 3 one. I'm about to do a box position 5 one as well. So there's kind of other similar ones. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again.